Maybe, I don't know if it was your tear or sweat, but.
I think that was sweat.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't remember crying, but definitely just appreciation and gratitude. I mean, just thankful for just the opportunity to be back out there, doing what I love and doing it here in AT&T in front of the fans with my teammates, with an atmosphere like this, first home game. It was special. It was definitely special. And as I said, usually the national anthem or pregame is the moments that I take in, and that was definitely one of them. But, just thankful for everything that I've been through and got me back to this point.
Color us here fans of the Seafoam Green. Yesterday was Dak's first home game in 351 days. It was quite the homecoming. He became the second Cowboys quarterback to complete 80% of his passes in back-to-back games, joining Troy Aikman in 1993. For the season, he has a 77.5 completion percentage. That's good for the second highest by a player through 3 games in the Super Bowl era. Let's go. Oh, it was also his 10th career game, throwing for 3 touchdowns and 0 picks. Dan, is this Cowboys offense better than you actually thought it would be 3 weeks through?
Yeah, first of all, the jacket is mint chocolate chip ice cream. They are. 2 things. Yes, it is. 2 things. I think the Cowboys' offensive talent is the best they've had since Troy Aikman was their quarterback. And Kellen Moore is the best play caller they've had since North Turner was their play caller. You know, as a play caller, your goal is to figure out what the defense is going to do, then devise a plan, and then put it in place to attack. Kellen Moore is doing that. He's always putting these guys in position to play well to their strengths. Now, I expected a lot out of this offense. I did not expect the violence and physicality that we're seeing by everybody, not just the run game, but by everybody. But that's the best Zeke has looked for me when it comes to that violence and physicality in 3 years.
Well, it's good to say a lot of good things about Kellen Moore, but you need talent to execute these things. And right now, it's getting to be like pick your poison when you're playing the Dallas Cowboys. I spend a lot of time in Arizona. I live in Louisiana, and I don't like snakes. Right? If I'm out watching the Arizona State Sun Devils play, and I get bit by a rattlesnake, I'm going to be ticked off.
Yep.
Right? Yep. If I'm at the crib and I'm out in the swamp fishing, which I will never be, that's going to be Swagoo. And he get bit by a water moccasin, I'm going to be ticked off for Swagoo.
No doubt.
And that's what it's like when you play the Dallas Cowboys. We watched the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah. They said, you're going to have to throw the football. We're going to stop the run. Dak goes for 4 bills. Right? And then you see them play last night against the Philadelphia Eagles. You want to see us run the football? Right. We'll go 5.5 for Tony Pollard. Yeah. We'll go 5.6 for Ezekiel Elliott. This team is talented in so many ways, and they can beat you utilizing whatever they need to in order to win the game, and that's the way Kellen Moore is calling, and that's making this team difficult to stop.
Putting an album together. Go, Mina. Go ahead.
You know, I'm going to say nice things about your Cowboys too right now, because they might be my favorite offense in the NFL right now. And for me, it all comes back to 4. Dan, I text you, I feel like after every touchdown pretty much saying, do you see that play design? Because there's so many cool plays, and Kellen Moore's doing such a fabulous job, as you said, recognizing, okay, this is what we're going to get on defense. Here's what we're going to do on offense. We're going to play to our strengths against their weaknesses. But then you watch those highlights, and as cool as a lot of the plays are and all the great things they're doing with the tight ends and the run game, you watch that touchdown to Cedric Wilson, number 1, and they got the skill players, I think 3 of them bunched left. Dak looks left. He's got Zeke in the flat covered. Blake Jarwin, quick hitch, covered. So he rolls right, and honestly, I think he might be better at throwing on the move than any quarterback in the NFL right now, just how smooth it looks, finds Wilson, credit to him, gets open for his quarterback. That's playmaking. That's not there's nothing scheme about that. That is just a playmaker. But
isn't that a different version of him then, Dak?
I would say what's perfect about it and what is different, it's the combination of the play calling and then the playmaking.
Hey guys,
that's so rare.
Here's what
y'all
in the NFL. Overlooking. These dudes play offense like rich people. Right? Dak Prescott is playing offense like a rich person. Because when you're rich, you know what? You don't care about turning around and handing the football off, because that's the right play. You don't care who you're throwing the football to, because that's the right play. And when you're really rich, only one thing now matters in football: winning championships. They're playing championship level offense.
You get paid? All right, so we are going to turn to the defense, but I got to give you a second to talk about this Cowboys offense, as you've just marinated.
He's been swinging in his chair like this, y'all.
No, listen, it was
that face right there.
It was beautiful. All y'all talked about, but y'all know me. Y'all know I'm old school. When I saw them double teams and them 6, 7 yard, 10 yard, 12 yard runs, Zeke Elliott going north and south, Tony Pollard actually running in between the tackles and gaining the edges, and that offensive line being able, look, Fletcher Cox and Hargrave are two of the dominant defensive tackles you're going to find.
Absolutely.
And they literally ran it down Philly's throat. I think that was the most impressive thing
What was the word you used?
from an offense. Bludgeoning.
Yeah.
Right? and listen, I've been on the bad side of that, bro. You start tapping out, you looking to the sideline, coach, come get me. But it was beautiful for me to see the physicality, because you're going to have to lean on that at some point during the season.
And for the defense, way exceeding expectations so far. How have they done that?
Freedom of knowledge. You can play free when you know what you're doing. I've been saying this last year in Mike Nolan's defense. They did not know the concept. They did not have a clue about fits, where to be, or what to do. Now, Dan Quinn, they know what they're doing. They're lining up, had a few busts in the game, which defenses have, but they're able to play fast, and that's what jumped off the screen to me.
You know what's shocking to me is we talked all the offseason. Dan Quinn's coming over with this cover 3 and this and that. They're playing man 62% of the time.
Yeah, man.
They're playing man coverage 62% of the time, third most in the NFL, and they're doing it well.
All right, guys, the Cowboys actually finished the regular season with the Eagles. In fact, they actually finished with the Eagles and the Cardinals. So that's the last 2 weeks. I don't know if we want to call that the double bird or
bird games.
I love my Cowboys.
Oh, got it in
Get
there.
tougher.
Eli would be a fan of that one. All right,
Eli.
let's get ESPN NFL insider Field Yates in here. Field, what's going on around the league right now? Let's start with Colts running back Marlon Mack.
Yeah, fun show so far, Lauren. No surprise when the whole crew is together. But you mentioned Marlon Mack, who is now on the trade block. Marlon Mack was a healthy scratch this past week for the Colts, and that's in part because they have Jonathan Taylor and also Nyheim Hines as the two go-to backs out of that backfield. Mack was re-signed this offseason to a one-year deal worth up to $2 million, and he could see his talents taken elsewhere in a potential trade. Indy, of course, would look for some draft capital in return. The Baltimore Ravens got some good news on the wide receiver front, which they've been looking for a while now. Both Rashad Bateman and former third-round pick Miles Boykin will return to practice this week. They are both eligible to play as soon as Sunday based off of the NFL's new IR rules. Of course, Bateman was having a great start to training camp before he got hurt. Disappointing news for them at the time. Good news now going forward. And now to Tampa for a couple pieces of news. You guys may have heard there was a game on Sunday featuring the Patriots and the Bucks, and Tom Brady's returning, but so is Gronk. And Gronk has negative x-rays on his ribs that got banged up on Sunday. That's a good thing here, as the Patriots and Bucks should feature both Brady and Gronk. It sounds like Gronk will be available come Sunday night. I wonder if he finds his way into the end zone. And a lot of big names in Tampa, but there's room potentially for one more, who has cornerback Richard Sherman on his way to Tampa, maybe actually there by now, and will work out for the team. Sherman, of course, has been out of football, dealt with some legal issues this summer. It's unclear how exactly those will resolve themselves if they do, but Sherman, a name that's been connected to Tampa for some time, perhaps a step closer to him landing with the Super Bowl champs, who, of course, have been all in on a repeat this season.
Yeah, really interesting, Field. He said that, according to Ed Werder, he'd be ready to play in maybe 1 to 2 weeks. More from Field coming your way a little bit later, and we got a whole lot more coming your way on NFL Live. What's going on with the Washington defense? The one scary front is off to a very slow start this season. Swagoo dialing up the tape to show you exactly how they can be better, starting with Chase Young. Plus, are the Steelers in trouble of falling to the bottom of the AFC North after a bad loss Sunday to the Bengals? Even the Cincinnati player is questioning their effort. RC will weigh in with an opinion that you might not expect. Speaking of opinions here, we need some on the suit color.